Genesis chapter 4. Now the human knew his wife Eve, and he conceived and bore Cain, saying, I have gained someone new with God's help. She then bore his son Abel. Abel became keeper of sheep. Cain became a tiller of soil. In the course of time, Cain brought offerings to God from the fruit and the soil, and Abel, for his part, brought the choice of the firstlings of his flock. God paid heed to Abel and his offering, but paid no heed to Cain's offering. Cain had much distress, and face fell, and God said to Cain, why do you distress? Why have you fallen your face? Surely, if you do right, there is uplift. But if you do not do right, sin crouches at the door. Its urges is towards you, yet you can become its master. Cain said to his brother Cain, and when they were in the field, Cain set upon his brother Abel, and killed him. God said, where is your brother Abel? And he said, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? What have you done? Hark, your brother cries out for me from the ground. Therefore you shall be cursed, more cursed than the land which opens its mouth to receive your brother from your hand. If you till the soil, it will no longer yield its strength to you. You shall become ceaseless and wander the earth. Cain said to God, my punishment is too great to bear, since you have banished me this day from the soil, and I must avoid your presence and become reckless wander on the earth. Everyone who meets me may kill me. God said, I promise you, if anyone kills Cain, sevenfold vengeance shall be expedited, I guess. And God put a mark on Cain, lest anyone who met him should kill him. Cain left God's presence and settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch, and he then founded the city, named the city after his son. To Enoch was born Irad, and Irad begot Mehajael, and Mehajael begot Methushel, and Methushel begot Lemishah. Lemishah took upon himself two wives. The name of one was Adaha, and the name of the other was Zelah. Adam bore Abel, he was the ancestor of those who dwelt in the tents amidst the horde. And the name of his brother Jubael was the ancestor of all who play lyre and pipe. As for Zel, she born Tubal Cain, who forged all instruments of copper and iron. And the sister of Nabaha was Nimaha. And Lasham said to his wives, Ida and Zillah, hear my voice. O wives of Lashmel, give ear to my speech. I have slain a rival for wounding me, and a lad for bruising me. If Cain is avenged sevenfold, then love shall be avenged 77-fold. Adam knew his wife again and bore a son named Seth, meaning God has provided me with another offspring in the place of Abel, for Cain had killed him. And Seth in turn was born, and he named him Enosh. It was then that God began to be invoked by name. Okay. There is tons of interesting stuff going on. So let's back up. So over here on 6 and 7, because Christians will tell you, like, I'm not Christian, I'm not Jewish, I just believe in God, right? And I do not believe Jesus was the Messiah. But they will go on to point out that in Genesis 4 that blood sacrifices was needed. But if you notice right here, Cain's heart was not right. And God warned him before he did anything in order to straighten up his heart, to focus on God. He was already having them bad thoughts. He asked why. Cain asked why his sacrifices wasn't doing good. It's because his heart's not right. Right. The sacrifices themselves do not matter as much as your heart and your intent, your obedience to God, and trying to be as good as person as you can, and resisting the bad thoughts. And another thing is because we just read about the genealogy, it is interesting because I don't know what you guys know about demonology, but those demons that do stuff, teach stuff, blah 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 blah. But here we're not going to get into all that. But here it goes on to say what humans learn themselves and pass on to their kids, like ironwork, music, and whatnot. And lastly, right here, this is a spell of protection Lyshami cast. He's like, well, if Cain was in the wrong and did it for no reason, I did this in self-defense. Very interesting. Even in this early part of the Bible, there is some spells. This is very, very interesting. And my background is probably different from most people. I was raised Christian. I was even pagan for years. So my perspective on stuff is different. Like my eyes, I've seen stuff. And the thing is, the Bible never says magic is not real. Never says it does not work. What it says is, don't rely on it. Don't do it. Focus on God, and God will be your shield. God will protect you and give you what you need. So there is no need for you to cast these spells. And lastly, talking about magic, God's name was invoked for the first time. For those who don't really know paganism or whatever, invoked literally means calling a spirit into themselves. So for the first time, Enosh used God's name, the 4-letter name, and called him on into God into him. He started to become one with God. For the first time, it was the Cain, it was the third generation. And as people of God, we should want to be more like God. We should call God into us, into our soul, into our heart. Focus on doing God's will. Alright, I think that is all for Genesis 4.